Two favorites with a quarter of a mile to go, and now Mashad Flats starts to cruise away. Opens up a length and a half. Mad Steven switches to the outside, but with an eighth of a mile to go, Mashad Flats doing the better work has built up a 4-length lead. Mad Steven, Abaddon moves into third. We'll try to get second maybe, but it is Mashad Flats. Mashad Flats is so much the best. We'll win it by about 5 lengths when the smoke clears. Mad Steven holds second, Abaddon third. Hansen also sending out the third place finisher, Abaddon. Race 3 is coming up now. And Smugglers Run to the outside. And they're off. Quick beginning for Moose Mitchell. Who's Candy is coming through swiftly on the inside, though. And Who's Candy now vying for the lead. These two, in fact, stride for stride. I'm Still Thirsty is in third. They're followed by Star Entry fourth, a length and a half back to Thirsty Always. Smuggler's Run is next. Then comes Franklin One Star and Richard's the Dream steadying at the back of the field. They pass the half-mile pole, and it's Who's Candy a half length in front. Moose Mitchell is pushed along to try and keep pace second. 2.5 more. I'm Still Thirsty. Thirsty Always is down on the inside. Another 3 back to Star Entry. Smuggler's Run starts to get underway now. Has about 5 lengths to make up, making a nice 3-wide bid. And in behind them, Franklin One Star. They turn for home. Moose Mitchell on the outside puts a stern test to Who's Candy, who's asked to counter second. 3 more to Smuggler's Run, finishing strongly in the center of the course. They're coming past the 16th pole. Smuggler's Run in the middle of the course with solid momentum will now breeze to the front late. And a very stylish performance. Smugglers Run in hand by a length. Moose Mitchell second, Franklin One Star, Who's Candy, and then it was a little bit back to I'm Still Thirsty, completing the super high 5. Scratch 3, Susanna, and 5, Lady Mo. Lil Gray's in to complete the line. And they're off. Bella Ranella came out smoothly. Tizza Master and California Cool now going to vie for the lead. Swirling moves up a joint third inside Lil Grayson, and Bella Ranella, who broke on top, is now at the back. Only 3 lengths covers the field, however, and it is Tizza Master and California Cool with 4.5 to go. Swirling a length and a half back, 3 wide third. Bella Ranella under a nice hold at the rail, inches up willingly, and Lil Grayson is outside of her. Around the far turn, it's Tiz A Master trying to shake loose. Swirling moves up into second. Then it's a retreating California Cool. Bella Ranella saving ground and a tad title on the inside. Lil Grayson wide moving up. They're a quarter of a mile from home. Tiz A Master confronted by Lil Grayson on the outside, swirling in between them, and Bella Ranella is down at the rail. There's an eighth of a mile to go, wide open. Bella Ranella trying to come through on the inside, far outside Lil Grayson. Tizza Master one from the rail, coming to the 16th pole. Tizza Master, Bella Ranella, and on the outside Lil Grayson. Bella Ranella on the inside. That was a beautiful ride from Tyler Bays to get Bella Ranella home. Tizza Master, heartbreaking defeat. Then it was Lil Grayson and Swirling battling out the show dough. They're off. Quick beginning for Va Va Voom along the inside, dueling with Westward Breeze in the early stages. Roses Are Blue is on the outside of them in third. Bowl of Cherries gets a good spot, riding the rail in fourth, 3 lengths off the duel up top. Then Majestic Steps and Unusual Ride trails. Down the backstretch they go. And Va-Va-Voom shows the way 3/4 of a length to Westward Breeze in second. Bowl of Cherries, Roses Are Blue together, as are Majestic Steps on the inside of Unusual Ride. Majestic Steps is having some difficulty throwing that head around quite a bit. She's got 5 lengths to make up and needs to find racing room as they pass the quarter pole and turn for home. Westward Breeze, Va-Va-Voom right together. Bowl of Cherries has negotiated a good trip. And on the outside, Majestic Steps is now underway. They're in the final furlong. At the rail, Va-Va-Voom, Bowl of Cherries on the outside. Bowl of Cherries takes the lead. Westward Breeze moves into second. It's going to be Bowl of Cherries to win easily. Tight photo, either Westward Breeze or Majestic Steps, then Va-Va-Voom. Sixth, we start the late pick 4. Post time in 27 minutes. Beautiful Art. Candy for Carmel. And they're off. Delmas was off slowly. Midnight Fury came out alertly and goes for the lead. Magic in the Moonlight is quick too. These two open up a couple on Beautiful Art in third. Candy for Carmel fourth. Delmas a little bit green. As about a length and a half in front of Salto de Tigre. Down the backstretch they go. And it's Midnight Fury, the favorite in front, 3/4 of a length. Magic in the Moonlight second. Then it's a length back. Beautiful Art angles to the 3-path and comes after the top pair now. Delmas is in fourth. Then Candy for Carmel and Salto de Tigre has tailed off. They're midway on the far turn. Midnight Fury, Magic in the Moonlight, and Beautiful Art. 3 of them across the track. Beautiful Art on the outside up to take a narrow lead. Delmas is in fourth, angling to the outside for the drive. They're at the top of the stretch, and it's Beautiful Art on the outside. Midnight Fury fights on at the rail. These two come past the 8th pole, 1-2. Beautiful Art doing the better work, however, and starting to pull away. It's going to be Beautiful Art to win it convincingly, in fact. Wins it by about 4 widening lengths. Second goes to Magic in the Moonlight. Then it was Midnight Fury and Candy for Carmel. Show wagering offer. Post time in 24 minutes. They're in the gate, and they're off. Very smooth beginning. Precious Insight and Emerald Lake are both out alertly. Big Novel is up close in the early stages, and Vivacious Vanessa will trail the field through the opening furlongs. It's Precious Insight to dictate the terms. Emerald Lake right up alongside, just 3/4 off the pace in second. Vivacious Vanessa is inching up on the extreme outside, and just inside of her is Big Novel. It's a very compact field that swings on to the backstretch. And the lead belongs to Precious Insight under Abel Cedillo, carving out the fractions in front by a half length. Emerald Lake gets a little bit of a nudge in the early going. Then comes Big Novel and Vivacious Vanessa, and those two are right at the back as the favorites track the top 2 with a half-mile left to run. Precious Insight has been there every step of the way. Leads it by a length and a half to Emerald Lake in second. Now Vivacious Vanessa starts to find her best stride. Orange Cap on the extreme outside, and Big Novel is just inside of her. They're approaching the quarter pole. Precious Insight. There goes Vivacious Vanessa with a bold move, though. And Vivacious Vanessa takes the lead with a 1/4 mile to go. Emerald Lake is going with her. Big Novel will swing to the far outside, 3/16 of a mile to go. Vivacious Vanessa, Big Novel coming after is the two favorites square off. Vivacious Vanessa, but Big Novel has solid momentum and goes right on by. It's Big Novel, confidently handled throughout by Johnny V, wins it by a length and a half. Vivacious Vanessa was second, Emerald Lake checked in third. Seminar. Eighth race. Start of the golden hour, pick four, no scratches or jockey changes. 24 minutes to post. Jane goes in. Silent Beauty to the outside. They're in the gate. And they're off. Starship Diplomacy stumbled as the gate opened, and Ravenclaw has no early speed whatsoever. It's Midnight's Girl who's going out to take the lead. So softly along the rail, presses from second. Then it's Starship Diplomacy, still close up in third, despite the rough beginning. Lucy Jane far outside fourth with 2.5 to make up. Then Mo Connolly, Never Sway, red colors, 4 lengths off the lead. Another 2 back to Silent Beauty, and Ravenclaw is far back. Around the far turn, it's Midnight's Girl on the outside, and So Softly continuing to do battle. Mo Connolly coming after the top pair, angling off the fence in third. Then Starship Diplomacy a weak in fourth. Never Sway is next. At the rails, Silent Beauty has about 6 to make up. They turn for home, and Midnight's Girl, the one to catch, has it by 3 lengths. Silent Beauty splitting rivals to chase, along with Mo Connolly as they come to the 16th pole. Never Sway in that battle as well, but that battle is for minor awards only, as Midnight's Girl is far too strong. Midnight's Girl wins by about 5 lengths. Never Sway gets second. Mo Connolly, Silent Beauty, So Softly completes the super high five. They're in the gate. And they're off. Castle is going to the front. On the outside, Ian Glass with some natural foot. And here's Via Ignatian. Via Ignatian gets to the front and takes command. Castle now second, Ian Glass third. They're followed by Very Irish, racing fourth through the early stages, but already 7 lengths off the speed. Preaching Trainer is down at the rail. Frontier Market is 3 wide, and Grit and Curiosity trail. Heading into the far turn behind Via Ignatia, leading by a length and a half to Castle in second. It's 2 more lengths back to Ian Glass, comfortable in third. Then comes Preaching Trainer. Frontier Market on the outside is in fifth, followed by Very Irish and Grit and Curiosity. They have a quarter of a mile to go. Via Ignatia now trying to finish it up. Chased intently by Ian Glass, who cuts into that margin, and Ian Glass goes right on by with an eighth to go. From the back of the field, Grit and Curiosity starting to find some momentum with Frontier Market, but it is Ian Glass long gone. Ian Glass wins by 2.5. Grit and Curiosity was up for second. Frontier Market third. Then it was Via Ignatia and then Preaching Trainer to complete the super high five. $315.65. Pick five, 1,059 even. Super high five, 736.10. Rainbow six today for 20 cents, $1,241.
Sorry to take you away from that gaze of the San Gabriel Mountains that serves as the backdrop for the Great Race Place here at San Anita. But a summer day here at the Great Race Place, and more importantly, our handicapper today is hotter than the weather. You want to know why? First of all, it's a really good betting card. If you haven't taken a look at it, definitely make sure you check out today's 9-race card. It's one of the better cards of the meet. Also, he's a pro player. He's here every single day and he doesn't get paid. Unlike me, I'm here every day, but I get paid. My guest today does not get paid. He tries to make money at the windows. He's a good friend of mine. His name, David Nance. David, welcome to the seminar.
Good to see you again, Tommy, as always.
It's great to see you. Now, before we get into any handicapping, I just wanted to ask you kind of a general question.
Sure.
I've seen some trends both on the main track and on the turf course. Let's first talk about the main track. As the temperatures are warm and unseasonably warm for the month of February, it sure seems like early speed is a huge commodity. You don't see many rally wide horses. You don't see closers really having an impact. Have you kind of made the same observation?
Same observation. Well, all you got to do is watch the horses come back. They're just covered like they're in mud, and it's just, the track has gotten a little bit slower over the last couple of weeks, and the horses seem to be struggling late. Like yesterday, they won 47.5 and came home like in 54. They kind of struggle, and they're all kind of single file down the lane. So speed is probably it's always been a commodity here at San Anita. Let's face it.
And it's kind of a dilemma, right? Because of the warm temperatures, they've got to keep moisture in the track, and there's kind of a fine balance. And it's just Mother Nature having an impact on our handicapping.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I've always been a speed handicapper, so for me, I'm always looking for speed. So, but I believe that when you talk about how the weather has changed, sometimes it does affect the track that way.
And on the turf course, particularly in sprints, not coming down the hill, but on the flat turf course, Brad Free from the Daily Racing Forum had a good observation and carried forward yesterday as well. Prior to yesterday's races, 7 of the last 13 turf sprints on the flat course were won by the outside post. Horses. It doesn't look like you want to be down inside, and it just looks like for whatever reason, the outside horses have an advantage here as opposed to Del Mar where it's at a disadvantage.
And it's kind of an obvious reverse, because if you look at when they break into the turn, it's almost like they're at an angle there, and you would think that the inside speed, if they can get up in there, have sort of an advantage. But most of those horses just kind of go out there, sit out there 2 and 3 wide, and finish.
David, I know you did the work, and like I said, there's a very good card, but just tell us briefly what type of handicapper you are. You've got the old school racing form in front of you, but I mean, is it all just kind of, pen to paper, watching replays, having a good memory? Like, what type of handicapper are you?
Complete fossil. I mean, I've been around for 50 years. I mean, I still use a racing form. Most guys have computers and, Black Magic and all these algorithms and all the rest of it. And hey, listen, I think they're great, but I mean, I can barely turn on my computer and make it work. So until Windows showed up, I was pretty lost out there. But, I mean, I've always been a speed handicapper. I do films. I've learned to watch films over the year. Rene Romero, Bob Reinhardt, and of course, Richie Scalar in Vegas, just, the best at it. And, I just learned that that's probably the best way for me. I do use numbers. My friend in Vegas calls them crayon paper, but I do use numbers. I think they're a tool. I think you can find levels for different kinds of horses. You can sometimes pick out bad favorites, and that's what we're trying to do every day, is trying to find overlays.
And there's a lot of different ways to fall onto the winner, right? Like there's a lot of sheet players that we know that use the sheets religiously, but they don't take into account pace of the race. They don't go back and watch race replays.
Right.
You've got to kind of be like a chef, right? Where you're in the kitchen mixing all the ingredients together, and hopefully whatever works for you winds up being a winner.
There's so much you can learn when you watch films. I mean, obviously you can find trouble closers, which, novice, tape players do, but it's a little intricacies about how horses might be inside catching dirt in their face, or maybe a guy's not trying too hard and then angles outside finishes. There's a lot to learn, and you learn something every day, really.
You bring up a good point, David, because a lot of times people are watching the horses, but a lot of times you can watch the jockeys and get a better idea of the trouble or the intent.
Absolutely. A lot of times you'll see certain jockeys, that, like I like to call them face rippers, they'll just be sitting there tearing horses' face off, and before you know it, they're finishing, and then they go to maybe a different jockey, like maybe Maldonado, someone's a little bit more aggressive on the front, and their running line might show 9.966, and all of a sudden they're up near the lead, and that's how sometimes you catch those.
Speaking of aggressive, David's an aggressive player. You're going to find out how aggressive he is when he tells you who he likes on today's excellent 9-race card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the minimal amount of early scratches on today's card.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf at 0 feet today. Here are the early changes. The first race is the start of the 50-cent early pick 5. And in the first, there are no changes. We have a blinker note in race 2. Blinker note's always on the bottom of the program page. In the third, scratch number 7, Atlantic Strike. Race 3, scratch number 7. Fourth race, start of the Rainbow 6, $501,000 in the jackpot pool for a single ticket winner. 1, DK's Crown +1, 6, Jan's Reserve, £2 over. Race 5 starts the late pick 5. Number 7, Derby Quest, will carry 2 over. In the sixth race, start of the late pick 4, there are no changes. Turning to race 7, no scratches or jockey changes. Eighth race, no high 5 due to the scratcher number 3, Mongolian Box. Golden Hour pick 4, as always, starts in the second to last race. And in the ninth, the Sweet Life Stakes, grade 3 event, will be run down the hill. Number 5, Dolly May, £1 over. Those are the changes on today's program. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. Post time for the first is in 59 minutes at 12:30. At this time, we go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's special guest today, old school handicapper, David Nance.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with horse player David Nance. He's been handicapping for over 5 decades. That's what he proclaims, but actually I believe him because I've seen him at the track every single day since I moved out to Southern California in 1986. Not quite 5 decades ago, but obviously it's a labor of love. He knows what he's doing. Before we talk horses, the big game is in town. Of course, a lot of parties around. You and I have not been invited to any of those, but we'll be watching the game. Any opinion?
Well, a couple of friends of mine from the East Coast are out. They're all Cincinnati fans. Jimmy Slutsky, an old-time player here, he proclaims he's the pick 6 king, and I believe that he probably is. But we're probably rooting for Cincinnati.
And the Rams, of course, the home team. I believe the spread's around 3.5.
Yeah, according to Vegas, it hasn't really moved much either way. So it'll probably be a good game. Hopefully,
going to be a lot of fun. Not only the game itself, but also racing tomorrow. Keep in mind, because of the big game, first post here at the Great Race Place will be 11 a.m. Pacific. We'll conclude well in advance of the start of the Super Bowl, so you can either play through your ADWs or come out on track and be home in plenty of time before the big game. All right, a great card, as I mentioned, on today's 9-race card, David. So let's kind of roll up our sleeves, no pun intended, and take a look at the very first race, which begins the 50-cent early pick 5. Also, race 1 is a split of race number 5, and it's for fillies and mares going 1 mile of turf course. The rails today are at 0 feet, I should say. The original morning line favorite was number 2, but the one taking the action is right inside. Number 1, Split Then Double, the Invader from back east for trainer John Sadler. How'd you see race 1, David?
Super competitive. Looks like there could be a lot of speed depending on what they want to do with the dogs down. Usually speed's at a little bit of a disadvantage. I'm sure all the Chad Brown players will love the one. Took him 6 races to break his maiden. He had a perfect trip over there at Belmont. The splits were really slow. Ran good. I mean, I can't knock him. I didn't pick him today, but he obviously has a shot. Probably my third choice in here would be Michael McCarthy's horse Charge. Has dropped throughout his last race. Second race down at this level. Pace was very slow. He finished very good. They finished, in front of the field, drawn away there. I made him my third choice. Trouville and Ginja, they're speed horses along with the two that, could certainly make trouble for each other on the front end. I came down to the 7 horse, Kira. He ran again. That's a level higher. That optional non-winners are 2. That's a level higher than this. Those horses, I think, are way better than this horse. Sensible Cat came back to win. Queen Goddess came back to win the race before that. He's training super B+ on Andy Harrington. I think he's going to get the right trip. He's a 5-time winner against non-winners of 2. Even though he's 6-year-old and still eligible for the condition, I still think he figures okay here. My second choice would be Anna Galice because he's probably the inside speed. Every time Pratt's on a horse on the turf, you absolutely have to consider him. He ran super the other day. The splits were fast. He finished full of run with his feet underneath him, had gas at the end and galloped out good. I made it 7/2.
And David's top pick, number 7, Cura. You can see morning line of 6-1, right at the morning line of 6-1. So a good price play in race number 1. Let's turn the page, David. Take a look at race number 2. Begins the 50-cent early pick 4. This time we're on the main track. 6.5 furlongs of the distance. Maiden claiming fillies and mares in for a $20,000 tag. Field of 6. Number 5 for Love Not Money. 2-1 on John White's morning line. Talked about Andy Harrington having good workout reports for Love Not Money. Also getting favorable workout reports. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite
my
here.
top choice here, Tommy. His last race was way better than looked. He was coming off an October layoff. He broke about 3 slow. He got pinched at the start, kind of fell back. He got a very, very good trip. The pace was fast up front, so it's a little distorted, but he got a very, very good trip, finished okay with his feet underneath him, and they beat the field, pretty good in there. My long shot in here is the 3 Team Concept. Don't know much about her. She is a 4-year-old. She's an acclamation. The field kind of came up empty. Wasn't really crazy about the inside 2, Caton's Kid and Stoic Luna. Stoic Luna added blinkers, stretched out, ran off down the backside, was totally empty, turning for home, turns back, takes the blinkers off. Certainly, could be a factor here if she, somehow can figure a way to get to the lead. Caton's Kid, I don't think wanted any part of routing the other day. His second race down, he actually ran pretty good at Santa Anita over this racetrack. He does have some speed, just depends upon what the 2 does here. Golden Journey, the bottom horse, is coming out of way better races on the turf. He's never been on the dirt. First time in for 20. Trains decently on the dirt. I couldn't say no. I'd probably make him my third choice. I picked 5/3.
And Chris Amy, the jockey in number 6, Golden Journey, married to trainer Brittany Vandenberg, you can see now has the agent services of George Bradvica and gets a very live mount or a potential live mount for the Richie Baltus barn on number 6, Golden Journey. Let's take a look at race number 3. Another good race. This time it's 6 furlongs on the turf course. Take note, whether it's in the program or in the racing form, this is a turf race. 6 furlongs on the flat turf course for fillies and mares. Starter allowance types, a field of 8 after the scratch of number 7, Atlantic Strike, the morning line favorite from the Bobby Falcone barn, fresh off a victory. Number 3, Translate, 5-2 on the morning line. Give us your thoughts on race 3.
Again, we talked about the outside box being good. 8 and 9 are both solid in here. I didn't pick either one of them, but they're both very solid. Equilove could technically have a pace edge here off his second race down, where they went 21-4, 43-2. That, and then of course goes to, Pratt, and he'll probably do the right thing out there, whether, he'll just take a purview of what's going on inside of him. I thought the race was pretty competitive, Tom. When I first looked at Translate, which I made my second choice, I thought this horse was super the way he ran the other day. Now, it was a 4-horse field. He didn't beach much. There was kind of a duel up front, but he just kind of exploded turning for home. He was geared down at the end, no whip. He ran really good. He likes this turf course. He's a winner over it. He's never been worse than third. He's, 4 for 4 in the money. I made him my second choice. I went for Freedom Last today, and I'll tell you for other reasons when we get to that race. I thought Pop Stream's race was the best race. He's a miler shortening back to 6. The 6 and 7, 8 and 9 all have speed. Atlantic Strike's a giant turf move up. I wanted to like him because he could be the speed of the speed. But again, I think with 6, 7, and 9 all being contentious up on the front end. I thought Freedom Last would get a good trip here. His second race down against 25 Open, I think, are a little bit better than this starter 50. So I made it 2/3.
Number 2, Freedom Last. The Illinois bred is David's top pick in race number 3. Another 6-1 morning line choice. Race number 4 begins the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. That jackpot single ticket carryover now over in excess of $500,000, $501,000 to be precise. There's a possibility there could be some single tickets alive going into the last leg. Given the sequence of races today, that money will be yours plus whatever is wagered today. If you're the only winning ticket in the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6, and we kick things off sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the main track for $10,000 claimers. Field of 7, number 2, Starship Chewbacca, 9-5, first off the claim, dropping down one level. What say you about race 4?
First of all, claims and drops, never my favorite thing here. I'm going to try to beat Starship's Chewbacca, who actually ran pretty decent the other day. But he was kind of set up there. Was 3-horse Vicious in front of him. He had made a big 4-wide brush and absolutely should have ran by him. And I thought he kind of hung the last part. I'm not crazy about it. 9-5. I'll try to beat that horse. Pelican Way. I've always been a fan of this horse. I cashed 2 bets on him when he won both his maiden, and he ran second time for non-winners of 2. He had a good trip the other day. Those were way better. He drops in for 10 today. These could be his friend. I'd probably make him my third choice. Don't know much about Follow the Signs, the Brittany Van Berg horse from Hawthorne. Everything she's brought here has all seemed to run. She does a really good job. All her horses look great down here in the paddock. I guess she has a chance. I don't know much about those horses. I didn't like the rail, and I didn't really like the outside horse around the dial. I picked Jan's Reserve, and I'll tell you why. This guy, Jesus Uranga, does an amazing job. I've watched him down at the quarter horses down at Los Alamitos. Everything he puts out looks great. I thought his second race down against that 8,000 starter was super. Then the other day he broke a little bit slow in that race down at Los Alamitos, and he came flying full of run, galloped out really, really good. That guy, I know he's 0-13 here, but this horse looks like he's finally coming into, he's super sharp coming here. I made him my top choice, and I made a long shot Invictitatus, my second choice. He broke a length slow the other day and just kind of ran even, but this horse has showed speed against better routing, and now they're back to 6.5. If the race kind of falls apart, it's first time 10 for him. These could be his friends as well. I made him my second choice.
6-3 in race number 4. Take note, David's top choice, number 6, Jan's Reserve, ridden by Ricardo Ramirez, the 7-pound bug boy, who primarily rides at nights over at Los Alamitos, but he certainly appears to be a very talented rider. Do not be scared away simply because he's a bug boy. Race number 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. It's also a split of race number 1. Same exact conditions, fillies and mares, allowance optional claiming types. 1 mile on the turf course, a field of 9. Before we get your selection, David, I wanted to watch the replay back on November 7th at Del Mar. There's 3 runners that come out of that race. You have to go 2 back for each of them. Number 2, Fearless Girl. Number 5, Aloha Kitten. And number 6, Ultimate High. All ran in this race that we're about to show the replay of back on November 7th at Del Mar.
They're all in line. They're off. Rosarchio was off to a slow beginning. Brilliant Bird is going out to the early lead with Aloha Kitten on the outside, anonymously, and from the rail it's Froze. These 4 speed out from Nice Ice away running in 5th. Then Fearless Girl, followed by Ultimate High on the outside. And then it's Met in Miami, Rose's Crystal, and Rosarchio slow out of the gate is 14 lengths off the lead. And the leader is anonymously. Brilliant Bird a length and a half behind. Well off the rail as they enter the backstretch. 22.96 was the opening quarter mile. Break of another 2 back to Froze on the inside of Aloha Kitten. Heads apart 3rd and 4th. Nice Ice 5th behind them. 4.5 lengths off the lead. Then comes the favorite Fearless Girl down at the rail. She's got 6 to make up at this stage. Ultimate High is next by 2. Rose's Crystal, Met in Miami, and Rosarchio. Continuing up the backstretch, 46.91. That half mile for anonymously and Abel Cedillo. They lead it by 3/4 of a length over Brilliant Bid and a 3-wide Aloha Kitten racing for the far turn. Then it's Ultimate High on the inside. A rather Nice Ice on the inside of Froze. Now moving on their outside is Ultimate High, who's in gear while going 3 wide on the turn. Then comes Fearless Girl. Rose's Crystal is next, and Met in Miami and Rosarchio. They're into the stretch. And now up to grab the lead is Aloha Kitten. Taken on the outside by Ultimate High. Aloha Kitten and Ultimate High, and trying to come up the rail is Nice Ice. Nice Ice is charged to one the inside of Ultimate High. Down to these two. Nice Ice, Ultimate High. Nice Ice over Ultimate High. Rose's Crystal was third, and then Aloha Kitten.
Common race, David, where we saw Aloha Kitten hit the front a little bit too soon. Last time out, Aloha Kitten ran on the main track. The race was washed off the turf. Now gets back on a turf course where she's 2 for 2, and Ultimate High kind of loomed up there, couldn't get by Nice Ice, and last time out, kind of the same thing, although that was a sprint race. I know you're going in a different direction, but those are some of the things you watch for when you watch race replays.
Well, the only thing I'll say, Tom, last time I was here, I picked the horse and said, bring me on a body bag if he lost. Well, I don't know if you noticed the corner truck out back. I don't know how they revived me, but this is exactly the same way I feel about this race. Pop Stream is my absolute best bet of the day. This horse, he beat non-winners at 3 the other day. That's a condition that a lot of people will just see that allowance 50,000 and think it's a non-winners other than. It was a non-winners of 3. He drops back into non-winners of 2. I think he is an absolute cinch here. I picked him over Miss Costa Rica, who I think will make the lead.
And 4-1 on David's best bet on today's card, number 8, Pop's Dream. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4, 5.5 furlongs in the main track for $16,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime, a field of 7, and the big favorite taking a big drop down in class is number 7, Fury Cap from the John Sadler barn. We saw this happen yesterday in the nightcap where we had a big dropper for the John Sadler barn as well. Unfortunately, he didn't get to the winner's circle that yesterday. That was Frontier Market. Is history going to repeat itself here, David?
These kind of automatic throw out for me. If they win, I say God bless them. I don't like. He's running against 2-year-olds, laying off 2 years in for 16,000 right to the bottom of the barrel. Good luck to him. It's just not my type. I'm taking a shot here, Tommy, with El Durango. He added blinkers. He won off the rail, which is very, very difficult down there. I know it's Los Alamitos as opposed to Santa Anita, but this horse showed really, really good speed. He beat a horse that was 2 to 5, Miss Waha. They dueled from the top of the lane to the wire. He never let him by. Galloped out in front of him. I'm making him my top choice over sometimes always. His second race down makes him super competitive here.
Bombs away in race number 6. David's top pick, number 4, El Durango, a juicy 12-1 on the morning line. Race number 7 is a full field of 10 of maiden special weight 3-year-old fillies going 1 mile on the turf course. Morning line favorite number 7, Carol Girl, one of many in here adding first-time Lasix now that they're recently turned 3-year-olds. 9-5 on the morning line. This looks like another open race, David.
Super competitive race. I'm taking a shot here with Jonathan Wong's horse, taking blinkers off. I always love speed horses taking blinkers off, and I like dirt sprinters stretching out on turf. Taking a shot with Distorted Queen. I think he can make the lead. I know he's been stopping sprinting, but sometimes he's royally bred to stretch out. He's a 323 Tomlinson, 49er and a Demaglia d'Ora, royally bred to stretch out on turf. I know there's other speeds. I'm just hoping that Fry is listening to me in the jockey right now and puts him on the lead. I picked him, Tommy, over Azola Mia, Michael McCarthy's horse, adding blinkers and Lasix. Had a decent trip the other day. That was an off-race course. I think with a rider switch Herrera, maybe he'll keep him a little bit closer, and I made it 5/4.
5-4. Before we take a look at race number 8, I mentioned at the opening, David, that you're here every day, and of course, I see you hanging out with a bunch of your regular friends. Woody comes to mind, and of course, Will comes to mind, but one person we haven't seen at the track lately is Mr. Eric Roth, the Academy Award winner.
My dear friend Eric Roth, again, nominated for another picture, Dune. And
easy game for him, right?
It's just like riding a bike for him. Nominated for Dune, screenwriting credit again. He's like in the top 5 all-time of screenwriters. Shout out to him at home. Hope he's listening because I'm going to probably take him down with me too.
we miss you, Eric. Come back and see us real soon. Race number 8 begins the $1 golden hour pick 4, and the sequence is incredible today. Not only do we have some good racing here at Santa Anita, but our sister track Golden Gate also has the El Camino Real Derby, which is part of this $1 golden hour pick 4. If you're looking for jockeys like Abel Cedillo or Edwin Maldonado, that's where you'll find them today, where the Bay comes to play up at Golden Gate. But here, the first leg of the golden hour pick 4 at Santa Anita is for maiden special weight 3-year-olds, 1 mile on the main track. Scratch the 3, leaves us with a field of 6. The heavy odds on favorite is number 4, Got Thunder. I wanted to show 2 workouts before we get your selections on the race, David. First of all, let's take a look at the workout for number 2, Cover Me Up, from the Richie Baltus barn. This was on February 5th, a team workout drill with Going to Vegas, who's a very talented filly, turf filly, I should say, from the Richie Baltus barn. Here they are working in company, David, and we can see that number 2, Cover Me Up, is down on the inside. Obviously, she's only had 3 lifetime starts. The outside workmate is Going to Vegas, who's a very accomplished runner. As they spin around here throughout the workout, not only is it reasonably fast, it was the 10th best work out of 50 that particular morning, but she actually, I should say, he actually is holding his own against Going to Vegas, which I found a bit impressive. Do you watch many workouts courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com?
Well, I know it's available. I don't do a whole lot of it. My dear friend Woody Copeland is a master at it. I just kind of call him up every day and ask him who he loves. So, I mean, I think everybody that comes to the races, you know, if you want to look at workouts, certainly it's a great tool.
It's a great resource.
Great
and we can
tool.
see them coming down the lane. You don't have to wake up at 5 in the morning. You just turn your computer on and watch them work out. And you can see her down on the inside, believe it or not, Cover Me Up, who's the number 2 in race number 8, is actually pulling away from Going to Vegas. Now, again, keep in mind, Going to Vegas prefers the turf course, but nevertheless, I found this to be a very workmanlike drill. And Richie Baltus, first-time Lasix, added blinkers 2 races back. This might be a bit of a price play here at odds of 4-1. Also, I mentioned the morning line favorite, number 4, Got Thunder. If you look at the racing form, you can see that he also worked on February 5th, and he earned a bullet. He was the best out of 50 workers that day. He worked solo. So let's watch the workout for number 4, Got Thunder, a son of Arrogate. And as we watch him work out, hopefully in the next few seconds, we'll see that he looks almost identical to his sire, Arrogate. He's got that charcoal coat, and really he was never asked at any point here, David. He obviously is a very, very talented horse. He's been the beaten favorite 2 times out, but this is his first time going 2 turns, and having taken a sneak peek at your selections, he's actually your top choice at a short price.
Yeah, he is my top choice. He's the only chalk I like today. He comes out of Dynamite races. Obviously, everyone can see Newgrange, Armagnac. Wharton, Bob was real high on him the other day. He didn't fire, stretching out. But, I mean, this is the kind of horse that I think is just going to be very, very difficult to beat here. He's the inside speed. Pratt will probably just put him on the lead. Cover Me Up ran super the other day. Made a lead on an off racetrack. Ran a very, very accomplished second. I kind of picked him third. I picked Noble Union second because the second race down against Durante, he did finish in there. And if somehow 2, 4, and 6 somehow hook up and, you know, gets vicious, you know, I think 7 could pick him up.
Number 4, Got Thunder, finishing up the workout right there, but you can see very impressive. Also asked past the wire as well, and certainly looks like from this workout video that he should adore 2 turns. Certainly the pedigree is there for him to do that. The question becomes, how short of a price will he be, and are you willing to take it? But as we look at the graphic for race 8, David's top 2 picks, 4, 7, followed by number 2, Cover Me Up. We close things out with probably the best race on today's card. It's the Grade 3 Sweet Life Stakes, 6.5 furlongs coming down the Hillside Turf Course for 3-year-old fillies. Also, we offer $5 golden hour daily double wagering. Our last race here at San Diego with the last race at Golden Gate, and a good field of 10, including the morning line favorite near the bottom, number 9, Urban, 5-2 from Simon Callahan's barn, fresh off a victory. This is a really good way to close out a really good card.
Super competitive race. I can't knock anybody that would like any horse in this race. I went with Half Past 12. His last race, he dueled the whole way. He was completely looked like he was compromised turning for home. He picked it up, rebroke, galloped out super. I mean, I made him my top choice. My second choice, I picked Graham Motion's horse, shipping out from the East Coast. Those were Colts who we ran against the other day. Ran good. Looks like he's going to get a good trip. I got Gal. I mean, what he did the other day, you don't see horses do that often. I mean, he was last turning at the 7/8 pole into the mile, and